So Ross, probably the most common behaviour outside of aggressive behaviour in dogs that we want to treat, separation anxiety, or separation related disorder as I prefer to call it, is probably one of the major areas of dog behaviour that people want help with. What's your experience of dealing with dogs that have separation anxiety?
I see dogs that suffer with separation anxiety fairly frequently. As you said, it's a very common problem. Can be seen in dogs really of any age, any breed. And a recent client I went to see had a German Wire-hair Pointer, and I find that some of the hump point retriever breeds seem to be a little bit predisposed to sensitivity or fearful behaviour, and this particular dog was bought by a young couple and who both work from home. So during the early stages, the dog was with them constantly, and their constant presence. Obviously, we all enjoy having puppies and lots of puppy cuddles and things, so the dog had all of this. And when they decided actually they might like to go out for dinner or leave the house, that became a problem for the dog via the form of barking, defecating when they were out, and they very quickly found out from their neighbours that for the whole duration that they were out, the dog was just barking, howling, vocalising, scratching at doors and things like that, so which was very upsetting. They managed the problem for quite a long time by one of them being at home, one of them going out, and then swapping shifts, so they were looking after the dog. And they had seen two people before they saw me to try and reform the problem, but without any change at all. So I went in to meet the dog. Lovely dog, probably about 18 months old at the time. A nice social dog that was just very over-bonded to the owners and very used to being in constant presence. So what we started off by doing was really reducing slightly that over-bonding between the dog and the owner, and also giving the dog really powerful rewards for being out of the owner's presence, because the dog at the moment, it saw any time alone as absolutely awful. So we wanted to create a nice experience of being on your own in the kitchen with the owners, perhaps in another room in the house. And gradually over probably 3 or 4 weeks, the owners followed my advice and then started to leave the dog for very short periods of time, and then progressed that so that they could go out with the dog, spending sort of 4 or 5 hours alone at home without being so distressed. Because this behaviour was so embedded, because it started at a very young age and been maintained, following the programme I suggested that the owners may need to do that for fairly long term in order to maintain the results that they'd achieved and make sure that the dog didn't then start to revert and become anxious. So they maintained that programme for a number of months before relaxing some of their lifestyle changes.
You brought up some important points there in dealing with this over-dependency of dogs onto people and people onto dogs. We both know that in the main, owners are not aware of the type of stress that is being put onto the dog because of these periods where the dog has already had long access to them. So changing the owner's habits here and getting them used to the idea that they're not punishing their dog by allowing it to have periods away from them. This is a complete change for many, many people, particularly professional people, who feel that when they've had a hard day's work that the dog should have total access to them. But we know to desensitize those dogs that are over-dependent, there's got to be a temporary change, but a significant change for both the owner and the dog in order to improve the dog's behaviour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the end result is a pleasure for them, a pleasure for the dog, and a pleasure for us.
Yeah.
So thank you.